after you drink alcohol, your baseline cortisol levels, which is the stress hormone, are actually increased after you drink it. I speak to a lot of people and say, oh, I feel rubbish after a drink, even like maybe a week after, a few days after, and I don't know what it is. It impacts my mental health, and it's like your baseline cortisol level is increased after just drinking. So there's a lot of physiological reactions to drinking alcohol that clearly are not good for us. It's not good for us at all, for our body. And so I understand why people make a conscious decision not to drink.
But you know, since I've stopped drinking now, I like going to the supermarket at Christmas time. It was cheaper to buy a crate of like Corona than it was to buy a crate of water. And I was like, it's
backwards.
The societal norms around it of, oh, it's Christmas, you stock up on your drink, buy 6, save 25%, you know, get the crates in 3 for £22 or whatever it is. You just think, but I was part of all that years ago, and you know, and now I just look at it and I think, we're just slowly killing ourselves.
100%.
You know?
We are. That's going to be the title.
Yeah.
The short clip that I'm promoting. What's next?
What's next? I want to continue to inspire and empower people. I want to share more of my story with people. I don't know how I'm going to go about doing that. I spoke about writing a book. It's just all about making me as best equipped as I possibly can be to be a great dad and a great husband. That's my driving force. I think I've been in a position in my life where I haven't put them first in the past, and it took something like my wife's cancer diagnosis and that conversation in the car to make me think, shit, you know, we're not here forever. Yeah. You know, this is life, and I always think to that quote from Rocky Balboa, the film about no one hits as hard as life, and I've got that on my wall in my front room, and you know, it's about taking the hits and keep moving forward and keep showing up regardless of what life throws at you. And I feel like that's what I'm doing now. I think in the past I've buried it and I've ran away from it, and I've hidden behind various, you know, things, so I don't have to face up to it or I don't have to talk about it. But my goal now is to help as many people as I possibly can by being open, vulnerable, honest, compassionate. If I can achieve, you know, if I can help, if me talking like this can just help one person, then I've achieved what I want to achieve. Because, you know, there's men up and down the country who are being diagnosed with testicular cancer every day. There's men there that are having those same thoughts that I had, those same worries. And I look back to my time now and I think to myself, if I'd just known of one person that I could look towards that had been through what I was going through, and I could talk to that person or I could hear that person's story, that would have made a huge difference to me at that point in my life. And instead, I was alone in my bedroom, you know, contemplating life, thinking my life was over, you know, and I fast forward the clock now, and you know, 41 years old, married, got a roof over my head, got a homeowner, got a beautiful wife, got a little boy I never ever thought I'd have. And yeah, you know, there will be bumps on the road on that way. As we mentioned earlier on, it's about being grateful, and it's about being positive and self-care as well, to make sure that you can be the best for the people that you love.
Another segment, if you like, is the host turned guest. So you've got a chance to ask me a question. Only one though.
Okay.
Oh, I'm joking.
I would say, what have you learned from this session today?
What have I learned from this session? Oh, that's a really good question. Do you know I do reflections on the podcast episodes? So I'll do, every time I do a podcast, I go away. Obviously I rewatch it and write. So I don't write, I'll do it on a laptop, but I reflect on what I've learned. So I'll do 5 things I learned and I'll share the lessons with everyone. So off the top, what I've learned, let me have a quick think. Okay. The main one is how short life is. You know, you've been through a lot. Zara's been through a lot, and, you know, we take for granted the small things, and I don't think we realise that until something like that hits us and we're forced to reflect and go, oh, we're not here for that long. Am I living right? Am I being the person I want to be? And that's probably the biggest thing I've took straight from it. And when I do the reflections on this, I know some episodes are harder than others, and then episodes like this, I'm like, I could do 10 reflections. But that's probably the main one, that we're not here for that long. So just enjoy it. Make sure you're being the person you want to be. And I like how you want to impact other people, because that's what this is. You're in the right place. Outside of Andy's Man Club, do you talk to your friends about mental health? Perfect.
Yeah.
You don't know what's coming. You up for a challenge?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, cool. So this happened to the last guest, and he said, I think I explained it briefly, and the challenge is, are you willing to text one of them now just to check him? And blame the podcast, blame me. You can just text, obviously in whatever language you will message this person in, whoever you want to message, and just say, I'm on the podcast speaking about mental health, and he asked me, do I speak to my male friends about mental health? And it made me think, you know what, I don't. Well, today's the opportunity to put it on the table. And if you're up for it, we'll show the camera.
Yeah.
Show the camera the message.
You know what's interesting is, one of my good friends who I've met through Andy's Man Club, who I go walking with, Carl, when we go out for a walk on a Sunday, we talk about everything. We talk mental health, we talk about how we're feeling, we talk about conversations that we've had with our partners, we talk about challenges in life, and we have really deep, open, honest conversations with each other. And I think that's because our friendship has been born out of that group.
Yeah.
And he said to me, there's conversations that I've had with you whilst we've been out walking that I wouldn't have had with my friends until it was 3:00 in the morning and I'd been drinking all day.
2 pints deep. If you got this far, you must be enjoying the conversation. Make sure to hit the like button and press subscribe to show your support. Back to the episode. 2 pints deep.
Yeah. That's the only time I would have ever felt that I could talk like that with them. He said, but just through going out walking, because our friendship's been born out of that group.
That's what it's built on, right?
Yeah. But my other friendships, don't get me wrong, as you get old, what I've also done throughout all my learnings, is I've cut people off as well. Friendships that were born around alcohol, or if they were the wrong reasons, why I was friends with those people. And if you can only have a friendship with somebody after because you drink together, that's the wrong.
It's not a friendship.
No, it's not. But coming to that realisation. But I know two of my friends are going through a pretty tough time at the minute. So it'd be quite good to message them both and just say, how things.
Let's do it. Do you want me to get your phone?
Pass it your phone. Yeah. It's on the table.
Look at the turn around and reach that.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of friendships where we don't have these conversations, and I'm not going to be delusional and say every friendship we should be speaking about mental health, because not everyone's equipped to handle the conversation. Not everyone's willing to have the conversation, and that's fine. I think as long as we put it on the table, because what I said to Reese was, you can message them, put it on the table. They might not open up now, but in a few months, if they're having a tough time, they're going to remember that you sent them that message, and they'll think the door's open there to have that conversation. So this is the impact we're trying to have.
Go, sent the first one.
Are we doing more than one?
Yeah, I'll send 2, mate. Yeah,
Damn.
There's two friends that I know of that are going through a bit of a bad time. Or they've had a few challenges recently. There you go, done. Sent them both.
I'm going to show one to the camera. Like, personal details will get blurred out.
Yeah. Okay, so mate.
Fair play. Hopefully. By you putting that on the table.
Yeah, absolutely.
They feel like you'd probably find this, because do your friends and people around you know that you go to Andy's Man Club and you're a facilitator there?
Yeah, champion it quite a lot.
And obviously you've done quite a few interviews, done a bit of media on it. Have you become like the go-to person for mental health yet? With people around you, in terms of just like questions, or?
Not really. I've had, we went out with one of Zara's cousins. It was her 50th birthday a couple of weeks ago. And a couple of the family members, the blokes, came up to me and they were like, what you're doing is amazing. It's really, really proud of you, of what you've achieved, and you're putting it out there, you're being vulnerable, and take our hats off to you. So that was nice to have that affirmation from a couple
a bit of recognition.
Members of the family coming up to us and saying, they were really pleased with me. My dad's old best mate at school, my mum, he's a friend with me on Facebook. I've not spoken to him for years, but when I did my 3 Peaks challenge, he commented on my post saying to my mum, you must be really proud to have such an inspirational son. And I just thought, what a lovely thing to say. He's very much an old school bloke from same era as my dad, and to say that, and I've not spoken to him for years, it just really stood out to me. I'd like more people to talk to me about mental health, and more people, but it's not for everybody, and it's a choice at the end of the day, and they've got to come to that conclusion themselves. You know, it took me to be banging on my neighbour's wall at 11 o'clock on a Thursday or Friday night to realise that I was in a very bad place and I needed help. So that was my point. So there's a point for everybody. But, you know, all I can do is keep sharing, talking about it, highlighting it to people, so that when that time comes, so that banging on the wall moment comes, they know where to go to, because I didn't know at that point, and it took me to go to my doctor to speak to him. So I feel that by showcasing and sharing and talking, you know, it's a good thing, because it's letting them aware. And if through me they know that there's support for them out there if they need it, then I've done what I set out to achieve. Because I don't ever want anyone to feel like I felt, you know. And if I can mitigate that for friends and family and people who know me, then like I say, that's mission accomplished for me.
Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed that clip, click here to get the full episode, and don't forget to subscribe.